Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 21 of our Let's Learn series for Victoria 3, where we are playing as Portugal, having taken it from a minor power to now a major power. We've made it to 1900, so pretty much 2/3 into the game. Let's go ahead and unpause at a slow speed just to keep the time rolling. And there we are. We are, on our way to continuing our colonization of I don't know what you call this even. Now, East, West, Southern, Central Africa. We have unlocked, what was the tech? Malaria prevention. I'm hoping we're the first people in the world to unlock it, which has removed the 90% growth penalty from severe malaria. Now, Great Britain is pushing in here as well, but we are hopefully will be the first to get through to these Central African states and connect ourselves with South Angola, and grab a bit more here, grab all these resources. The population is all great. We've had a couple of uprisings. We had an uprising in Tswana last episode, which we have won. We now have an actual uprising. Not sure what this. I guess this refers to a region. This diplomatic play, but the uprising is in the Mashona tribe. Here it is, the decentralized nation, and we'll easily beat them. We have 20 battalions, they have 3, and I'm not even talking about the technological level. There we go. So we will get them very soon. Otherwise, that will give us colonization rights. I think I explained at the end of last episode, but maybe worth repeating. So whenever you colonize, you generate tension. So if you look at these decentralized nation, country screen, you'll get, instead of normal diplomatic kind of options, you get the tension, right? And that is generated from colonial colonizing them. There's also decay, but net it obviously always rises. There we are. Matabele now also up in arms against us. If they then can start an uprising, and should we win, we gain colonization rights, right? Well, they want to conquer back what we have already colonized and basically throw us out of their territory, whereas we get colonization rights if we win. And colonization rights basically speed up. So if we look at Tswana now, in fact, let's look at Tswana being colonized. I guess we need to look at our own piece of Tswana, which is growing a colony, right? We will see here the tension between us is volatile. Tension decay is minus 0.072 base per week. Why? Because base decay is minus 5 per year, although we get minus 25%, so minus a quarter per year. This is actually, so the tension decay is a good thing, right? That means we colonize, we raise tension. And base decay kind of makes the tensions just kind of dissipate, right? And we kind of gradually and slowly, smoothly take them over. But with colonial exploitation, hang on a second. Just give me a minute. Zambezi front. Okay, well, that's just the diplomatic play. Let's go quickly. We'll win Mashona, and then we'll deal with Matabele. So coming back to this colonial growth you see here. Progress towards gaining an additional colony is at 98%. We can actually even zoom in just now, boom, and then we get a little piece. So when it says next colony or province, is actually the big states are divided into these little tiny patches, which we slowly kind of just grab from them, and this turns it into a split state, right? Because one state can be owned by 2 countries during a war or during colonization. It is possible you can then unify your states. Right, so we click again on our colonization. Only 23 days it takes us. Now, why? It's 23 days, so progress increases each day by almost 4% due to colonial growth generated by Portugal 1.64, 20% from mission to abolish slavery. Interesting. I didn't even know that. Colonial growth multiplied by 2 due to us having colonization rights, which lasts for 4 years while we have a truce with this nation. This is, again, because there was an uprising due to rise in tensions as we started to colonize, and we won. We beat the uprising, right? Effectively culled their military, and so now we're just kind of encroaching upon their territory unopposed. Now, what is very interesting, abolish slavery. Where did that come from? Well, if I'm completely honest with you guys, I actually don't know. Oh, there we are. So modifiers, timed modifiers, mission to abolish slavery. Oh, I guess, yeah, sorry. I do know where this is from. This is from an event we got earlier. I think it was maybe discoverable for Africa when we discovered the malaria. Yeah. we kind of said, yes, we want to grow our colonies because, you know, our reasoning is that we're bringing civilization and sort of abolishing slavery. That's, you know, the pretext as to why we're just walking in here and settling. So we go 20% colony growth speed for another 8 years and 0.2 colonial growth generation on top of our 0.5 from our institutions, right? So that's 50, almost 50 or 40%. Pretty good, if you ask me, and that's why you see. So every 50 days we get something. Now let's quickly move our army to this front so that we can deal with Matabele when they eventually do rise up. That's just fine by us. We will again beat them and grab their colonization rights. Barotse, we have already obviously, I mean, and you can see, guys, how long it took us to just get that little piece, right? That took us ages to get this lead, right? Ages. And now that, you know, we removed obviously severe malaria penalty, we're just kind of just whizzing through this state, grabbing like everything we see. Oh, what is this? Barotse, East Angola, Barotse, Botswana. Interesting. So this is south and oh wait. Okay, so this, okay, we'll grab these as well. Oh, we are actually already grabbing these. Very nice. Very, very nice. Let's just grab all of it. Yeah, grab all of it, link up. Will be the heart of Africa, will be ours. Now, another thing I honestly haven't quite figured out in my own mind is what is the benefit of grabbing all of this? Now, Transvaal and Orange, or Orange, I don't know. Vrystaat, which used to be Orange, used to be the states of Vrystaat and Transvaal, the actual states as in provinces in the game. The actual countries were called, I think, Transvaal, but this was called Orange. I mean, they obviously, this is exactly what propelled us into the big leagues, and that's because we're mining an absolutely obscene amount of gold from here. Absolutely obscene. Together with our companies, this is all plus 50%. It's just insane. Just insane. Oh, we finally actually employed in Transvaal, yeah. So that I understand, for example, right, as I mentioned. Now, what I do not quite understand is what is the point of all this other land? Like, what do we really gain? We gain all these cool things like coffee, you know, bananas, but I mean, all that does is give us fruit, and fruit is only really needed by pops of, right, if you look at population, and just quickly do an overview, look at this, 80% of our needs. I mean, who eats fruit? Actually, look, our low strata do actually eat fruit. Interesting. But, I mean, it's really, I think, well, interesting. Actually, everyone eats fruit. Okay, maybe I was wrong about that. I mean, yeah, fruit. Fine. I mean, but what about, like, sugar, you know, for example? Sugar, I mean, it's great for food industries, but, I mean, not many people really eat it. Like, cotton is nice and all of that, so it's nice to have these colonies. I mean, especially these two, but for example, if we lost all of our colonies except Transvaal and Vrystaat, I mean, would we really lose all that much? Or conversely, once we gain all of this, like, what are we really going to gain? I mean, we will gain 27,000 GDP. Wow, Botswana is, to say it's sparsely populated is an understatement. I mean, but otherwise, there is no, we're not even going to get any people. We're just going to get this territory, deny it to someone else, right? So that's kind of a positive to big empires. But I mean, we're going to get, okay, 43 sized coal mines. All right. Now, one benefit that I think we figured out over the previous episode of having these colonies, to me, is that, for example, looking at Transvaal, yes, we could build 104 sized coal mines here. In theory, right? Because there's capacity for that. And it's great to build them here because this province has a special modifier, Waterberg coalfields, right? Which just give us additional 10% throughput. Again, what is throughput? And we get here 10%, 9% from economies of scale because we have 10 levels. So each level above the first gives us 1% throughput. 10% from the special modifier, 20% from colonial exploitation. What does throughput give us? Throughput means we're taking 20% more inputs, or 39% more inputs in this case, and we're outputting 39% more output of coal. What does that mean? That basically means we can, with even one level of building, we consume more and produce more while only employing the same number of people and paying them the most. So it's really leveraging labor. Throughput is, right, those same 5,000 people, let's say per one level, work kind of throughput more through this industry, right? They mine more, well, yeah, they basically use more tools use more explosives, or work more efficiently, or at larger scale, however you want to think about it in real world terms, and they produce consequently more coal, right? But you still have to pay for the goods. This building still has to pay for the goods, and it still produces more. It's just that the labor remains the same. Wages will probably actually even rise, right? The more profitable the building is, I guess wages will push that up. But ultimately, your throughput is about leveraging labor to, I mean, and also infrastructure, I guess, you don't use as much. That's another benefit. Kind of a hidden one. It can matter. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it does, right? But effectively, that is what it is. Now, what we were doing in the previous episode is just building up textiles. Yeah, sorry. Let me finish my thought here. So we could build 104 coal mines. Could, in theory. But in reality, we cannot. Why can't we? Well, because, as I already explained, the market access price impact matters. Have a look. No, we're actually not out of infrastructure. But it matters, right? And market access price impact is effectively the differential between the price that these coal mines sell coal at, right? Because they're not, so some of this, right, let's say they will sell locally, right? So they will exchange this at the local price. Coal mines produce 500, local consumption is only 354. Why? Because we have gold mines, pops are needing coal to heat themselves, I guess to cook food more like, because probably not, well, I guess it's mountains, could be a little chilly here, but probably not too cold. Iron mines we have here, steel, even in some railways. So some of them, I mean, there's quite a bit of coal is needed locally, but 150 of this they put on the world market. Oh, so not on the world market, pardon me, on the Portuguese market. And in the Portuguese market, right, for example, people in our capital state need coal, but they don't have any coal, right? But they get coal, but what they pay for it, for example, I mean, look at anything like steel mills that we have here, right? They buy coal. Where do they get it from? Well, from the rest of the Portuguese market. What do they pay for it? Well, they pay for it 37.1, right? They pay 37.1. Why? Because they pay the market price, 85% from market price, 15% from production consumption locally, right? So these guys, basically the differential between market access price impact is that locally here, coal is cheap because we're overproducing it. So they sell at a cheap price. Here, obviously, we consume more than we produce, so we buy at an expensive price, and the differential is simply lost to us, right? And you can think of it as sort of transportation costs, which again on Reddit or some places, I think it's a sensible suggestion for this sort of profit to be somehow accounted for, kind of like trade censors, because someone would get that. Sort of like there should be an industry like transportation, whatever, shipping, or maybe the port building should obtain that differential. There's an argument can be made that it should be, but the way it's modeled now in the game, and this wasn't even the case before 1.5 patch, that now, there is that differential, and therefore there is that difference. What does that mean? That means there is sense, there is mild to strong incentive to build, at least to some extent, industries up locally as well as nationally, i.e. not just have like one province in Africa that produces 104 sized, like Transvaal, 104 sized coal, right, and then like exports it all over the world, or even to like your capital province that has like infinite steel mills, right, and it's like boom, 3 provinces split across the world, all like link up and industrialize. That doesn't work anymore, right? Why doesn't it work? Because if we keep building coal mines here, they will simply become unprofitable. So it is actually right now in Transvaal not possible to build this to 104. In fact, you see they won't even hire. Well, this is kind of another issue we're facing. But the solution to that, to me, I guess, is if you get more land, right, you can get more of these inefficient coal mines like kind of splattered or scattered across your colonial empire, which is kind of what we're doing. We're like one way of increasing our GDPs. We've been building up a few of the textiles and furniture just everywhere because everyone has logs and fabric, right? And we just build these up everywhere because locally they need some of that. Then a little bit they will export. So to me right now, my thinking is that is the advantage of colonial empire, right? And that's why you need a lot of it, because you cannot just get away with like one really rich state unless it's gold. And the reason why it's different with gold is because gold is always fully employed, it is always consumed, its price doesn't go up and down. I kind of think it's a bit OP, to be honest, and Not sure. I mean, I'm not sure how to resolve it. Maybe there should be like a manufacturing building for like minting or something, maybe. And like, for example, you build that in like only in your capital state, so all the gold has to first travel here. I kind of feel that would be a better way, but gold effectively never, it's one good that as far as I know, never veers from base price, right? It's always 0% compared to base price, always. And it simply goes into your treasury. Yeah, so are we dealing? We enforced our goals in Mashona, which was here. Yeah, now we're at this front. Yeah, right, shouldn't, yeah, that's right. We're going for it. It will not be a problem, really. Are we advancing, ladies and gentlemen? No, we're not advancing. Why are we not advancing? Advance. Cautious advance. 10% offense, 5%. That's fine. Let's just advance. Come on. Get in there. So that is kind of it for colonization, all of this stuff. So we are constructing things that is raising our GDP, improving our minting. I mean, we're absolutely just rolling in money. Let's go ahead and resolve this event quickly. Slavery and colonial labor. Despite our proclaimed goal of ending the slave trade in Africa, recent reports suggest that laborers in Portuguese Botswana are, in all but name, slaves under our own colonial administration. This is utter hypocrisy. These abuses must end. Portuguese Botswana gets improved labor conditions for 5 years. +1 standard of living. Landowners get -2. Intelligentsia gets +1. It may seem similar, but the hard work we provide builds character. No, this is utter hypocrisy. These abuses must end. Yeah, let's... Well, first of all, I think it's a good thing. We are ending slavery. Very interesting, though. I like the way this is portrayed in game, to be honest. Something not talked about in the modern world at all. Especially with all the blame that first world countries get for slavery. I mean, frankly, out of nowhere. But I think a lot of the practices were embedded in these societies. I recently visited Zanzibar and was Tanzania on a safari. So quite some interesting history in Zanzibar, especially. So it's one of the largest kind of Oman-controlled slave trade routes in Eastern Africa. I actually always thought that slave trade happened in mostly in the Atlantic, kind of, right, from sort of Western Africa down to Caribbean. Well, that's what they teach in British schools, at least. But there was a lot of it going on here in like India, Arabic countries, and East Africa. And most of it was actually, there was like a great museum there. Most of it talked about how it's pretty much a local practice, and it was actually local tribes who delivered slaves to Zanzibar. Quite crazy, yeah, crazy. But yeah, I mean, interesting that they portray that in game. So, for example, we are actually not like a slave society, whereas here they have debt slavery. Tswana, debt slavery. Oh, interesting, debt slavery. But okay. But mostly they were used to be slave states. Yeah, so I think now that we... No, actually right now it's all of them seems to have switched. Now there you go, slave trade. Slavery banned. Yeah, yeah. Well, the world is moving in the right direction, I guess. Anyway, so then, okay, we have our construction cube. I mean, we got plenty of universities. What are we missing? We're missing convoys. Convoys are needed to maintain our trade routes and transport our armies. They come from ports, so we kind of need to look at our buildings. Maybe something. Who needs infrastructure? Ooh. Hang on a minute. We need even more infrastructure here. Well, let's do this in Beira. Let's get a port then in here as well. Right. Sorry. Buildings, construction, port, and rail. I mean, let's just get this finished maybe, and then we do a port. Oops, sorry, and then we do railway as well, just to future-proof Beira. Ports don't really give a lot; they only give 5. We're already at 5. Let's do these, and then we deal. Yeah, then we come back to our chain. Now, let's have a look. Ooh, look at this, our private sector, right? So I've talked about this in our previous few episodes. Why, at this point, right, by 1900, given we now have 140 construction, having started with 10, Now we need more capitalists, or at the very least somehow urgently increase reinvestment into our pool, either by having, which means we need more buildings that are owned and have a lot of profits by shopkeepers, farmers, aristocrats, and capitalists, right? Those are the 4 ownership classes, right? I mean, the ones you're really concentrating on, I think it's pretty hard to make a reinvestment pool out of farmers, because those would need to be plantations, right? So for example, tobacco plantations, right? So we have aristocrats actually owning them. That is because it's a plantation. Whereas if we go to our wheat farms, now we have homesteading, and that means we have 50 aristocrats and 50 farmers, so bigger middle class, right? That's because we have homesteading, yeah. Otherwise, we used to be privately owned, I think, under tenant farmers, and that used to be 100 aristocrats. But aristocrats, however, also with that change, I mean, I won't go over what else that changed. We talked about it when we did it at the pretty much very early on in the game, but farmers only reinvest 5% of their savings into their reinvestment pool, whereas aristocrats reinvest 10% and capitalists 20%. And there are modifiers on top of that. For example, industrialists currently powerful, right? They're currently powerful. We kind of want to keep them that way, to be really honest. So they are powerful, so they're activated and they're loyal, right? They approve of us, so they are currently giving us plus 20% instead of 10% investment pool contribution efficiency, right? So they actually give us, 24% of their whatever profits in their building as reinvestment pool. That's probably why we have finally now, right? So if now we're split 50-50, right? The 50% that allocate to our private sector, whenever it's full, is consuming 45,000. And that's, again, because we build up buildings that are profitable and are owned by capitalists, we also reduce the prices of inputs for construction. So those two kind of balanced out that right now we're actually building up, even while constructing, we're building up our investment pool, which is negligible, right? I mean, it used to be something like 2 million, right? And that is why also at the start of the game, again, like just to go over it, what I've seen on YouTube, people kind of say, oh, capitalist, that 20% reinvestment rate, how amazing it is. It's free construction. Yes, but at the start, you just can't consume it. I mean, you could argue, okay, you build up a massive pool such that by 1900, when you surge like this, like we did now, right, we could have been kind of using that investment pool now, right, if we were building it up from the very start of the game. But to me, the interplay, the whole point of Victoria 3, right, is, as I talked at the very start of the game, is it's an interplay between economics and politics. So yes, economics gives you certain advances, just like in real life, right? And I think here is sort of the start of economics, 1800s, the start of industrialization, and therefore the modern age, I would say. There's an interplay between economy and politics, right? Economy, you want more money, you want people to be better off, or people themselves want to be better off, etc., etc. But it changes their political views, right? Changes how they think about the world, about themselves, then about the world, about their country, and how they should be run. And you should consider that at the start. And getting capitalists, to me, at the start, puts industrialists in a very powerful position. And look, even now, we only have 80,000 people supporting them. And look, industrialists, interest group population. So we have only 2%, right? But reasons why pops are attracted to interest group include shopkeepers, engineers, and capitalists, all like industrialists. Popularity of Ruifera from pop radicals, interest group pop attraction. So 80,000 people who actually supported 12,000 capitalists. Look at that. Yeah, 83% of capitalists. Well, more shopkeepers actually support industrialists than petite bourgeoisie. That's very interesting. Even though when we switch to industrial, like large-scale industrial methods of production, petite bourgeoisie, shopkeepers disappear, and maybe or at least some of them turn into industrialists, right? But at a ratio of 4 people lose out, 4 shopkeepers disappear, and 1 capitalist appears, right? Because one level of buildings is typically run and therefore owned by 500 shopkeepers or 100 capitalists. Unless we're doing publicly traded, then we get 150 capitalists. So interesting, but you see even some laborers, so everyone supports someone, but mostly their political power comes from capitalists. What is this? What is it in Congo? Hang on a minute. You, sir, could you please urgently deal with Cassandra. Well, have they also risen up? Jesus, just have to run around putting everyone down here. And we are... Where's East Africa Blue? Have they... Alliance... I hope like they haven't like got allied with France somehow. Because we kind of more like gobbled them up, I think, to be really honest. Great Britain. What do they have here? He's completely landlocked. How did they lose East Africa? I don't even understand, to be really honest. British Raj. Yeah. So that was, I guess, yeah, a little explanation of what's happening while we're building all this stuff. Ooh, we urgently need, to be honest, some ports. Ooh, wow, we have input goods shortage of what? Of transportation in Alenteo. How can we... railway. Very interesting. Urban centers. Well, let's give them more transportation. Interesting. More transportation for everybody. We have enough infrastructure. Very interesting. So the reason, yeah, they were missing transportation, they said. Shortage. Lingering penalty. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, so you see, so shortage of transportation resulted in a penalty here. And the reason there is so much demand for transportation is mainly because we're missing labor here. We've switched a lot of our production methods, like mines, their automation method, to trains, right? So basically got the railways extended towards the mines directly, and I use more transportation to transport obviously our iron in and or out of our mines and bring inputs to our mines, and that requires more transportation. So the prices have gone up, and we only have 2 levels of railways providing, you know, a certain amount. Oh, we could actually, oh, look at this. We could in fact even do this, provide more transportation and even get steel passenger cars. Let's just really give this state as much transportation as it needs, right? Because we don't want shortages in our like key industrial state. Do now have a little bit of population to play around with. I think that's because we sped up, focused on construction in Africa. Meanwhile, obviously our population is booming pretty much. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, I'd say 1% is very good. Anything above 1% is excellent. 0.5% is like okay population growth rate. So we're kind of too much at the pretty good level. Okay, military statistics unlocked. A good general knows not just where every bullet was fired, but where that bullet was supplied from and how many bullets are left. Plus 20% daily organization gain. Okay. Proposal for trade agreement. Greece wishes to enter into a trade agreement with us. Yeah, so what does that mean? Trade agreement, a diplomatic pact between 2 countries that eliminates tariffs and bureaucracy costs of trade routes between them. Let's go ahead and pause. Right? If we want to make an assessment whether this is a good thing or not, let's click on our trade countries. I mean, we don't trade a single thing with Greece, right? And I'm not sure that we really would. We could kind of include them in our market, maybe. Let's go ahead and accept, just for now. So I want to... Diplomacy, defensive pact with Tripolitana. Trade agreement. Let's put a trade agreement with them and try to include them in our market. Right? Because including them in our market means there's like more demand for our goods, effectively. So let's even have a look. Diplomatic actions. What if we do a customs union? So Spain will not accept. Who would accept? Perak, Sulu, and Warsangali. Well, these guys are... I'm going to just guess that they're all in Africa, and therefore they will soon be part of our market, whether they like it or not. Now, 2 Sicilies, or Greece, for example, let's go. They would not accept. Why? Minus 100% base reluctance, okay. So overall we're at minus 46 because we have 30 Greek attitude towards Portugal is genial, 20 Greek-Portuguese relations are amicable. They should increase now that we have trade agreement, right? That raises this cap. Ideological similarities of our governments. Volume of trade routes is 0, yeah. So we're not really trading much. -1, Greece has GDP that is higher than 2 million. Greek GDP compared to our GDP, plus 20. Yeah, so they would benefit overall. The Greek market is not adjacent to ours. Okay. That's why. These guys, minus 35 only. Yeah, so it wouldn't hurt to actually, we have plenty of diplomacy. What about we can't improve relations? Is that we have interest in there, so I guess our relations must already be at their maximum. Now we do want Brazil, like one way or another, we want them in our sphere of influence. But they're part of the British market. Oh, look at this. Britain has made everyone part of their market. Brits. We want to like get Japan into our market, but I think, are they currently in a war or no? They're not. They're actually, yeah. So that war never really took off, right? I think it was Britain, Netherlands, was it, that started a war with them. But how about we try to make overtures to the Japanese shogunate and include them into our market? And what does that mean? That means we don't need to trade anything. They effectively, whatever goods they produce and what we produce, now kind of there's more demand and more supply from them. So we could, right, that will allow us to, like, that will raise prices for all of our goods that they demand, right, making our industries more profitable. And also their industries more profitable, but hopefully they're the one that will supply us with like low-end goods and we'll supply them with high-end goods. Let's have a look. This is like a diplomatic game, I have to say, as I said, mentioned at the start. That's something, frankly, kind of new to me. I've read up on what pretty much each one of these means, but it's still a little bit opaque to me. So if I make a demand, customs union, Japan, country, do we perhaps not have an interest? No, come on, we do have an interest in Japan, don't we? Yeah, we do. So why can't I? Why will they not expect Japanese shogunate? Hang on. Defensive pact with Heavenly Kingdom. Truces, yeah, with the United States and Austria. They wanted to open up the market. What about diplomatic actions? Demands? Open market. Already have an active diplomatic play in progress. We are already fighting a war. Okay, can't start another war then. Okay. Defensive pact damage. Change the market. What about like Brazil or someone? Peru, Bolivia. Okay, none of them really want to change. Yeah, so we need to make ourselves like more attractive. Let's keep the game on pause just so we're constructing things. We do need more and more convoys. We could kind of remove some of these unprofitable routes now. But many of them don't really require. Trade quantity is 5, convoy multiplier, land trade capacity. Yeah, so see with Spain, some broke. Okay, this has been enforced. Now we do still have this guy. Now, do we have, yeah, are they? Congo. Yeah, Kassanje. Okay, our army is arriving to deal with all of this rabble. Okay, so this we're colonizing. Yeah, we're just powering through this. Now. Also, by the way, let's say if we did add population buildings. Yeah, I mean, Japan could like supply us with like iron, this and that. I guess that's kind of an alternative to, yeah, that would be very nice. Maybe we should, that should have been our objective. Because if we add them to our market, they're resource rich. They could, instead of being our colony, we could just have a sort of like synergy. Why can I not click on them even? I wonder. Customs union. Like the game won't even tell me. Japanese shogunate just doesn't want to. Is that because we need to first open up their market? Okay, that's fine. We'll deal with that. Defend the border, strengthen the nation, expand resource industries. Slavery ban, closed borders. Portugal, here needs to be an overlord to impose the law, yeah. Textile consortium. Okay, well, if we were to open up their market, which I think is a forcible way to put them into our customs union, I mean, if we were to do that, we'd need to invade them. Their military strength is 3,200. And our military strength is 3,300. Which is great. I guess, what are we researching? We're doing trench works, yeah. So when we get trench warfare, I would also like to get shrapnel artillery. If I'm honest with you guys. I mean, faster training would also be nice, but where's... So this has changed, I think, in like 1.5.5 or something. Where's shrapnel artillery now? Here's mobile... Oh, there it is. We already have it. Okay, excellent. Well, my only question then is, why hasn't it not been upgraded? Well, sir, because it has been, in fact, upgraded. No. Clearly, I'm not paying attention. Okay, a brazen expedition. A British expedition in Portuguese Gambia has encountered our own troops, suggesting that colonial ambitions in the region are in conflict with our own. They must turn back at once. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's better for us, but get out of our colonies. Portugal claims Gambia. What's that? Gambia, yeah. Because it is ours. Yeah, it is split state Gambia. There you go. Watch out, Great Britain. What do they have? 20,000. And 17,000. Dearie me. Maybe that was a little rash, but hey. We're riding high right now. We're still 180 prestige away though. But I mean, we got so much money. Let's get our army going. We get the trench works. And then we need destroyers, and then we need dreadnoughts. Threshing machines unlocked. By removing the physical labor aspects of threshing the grain, the steam-powered threshing machine makes farming much more efficient. There you go. Put threshers in our farms, right? And that basically means fewer laborers, more tools, and more coal. So start mechanizing our industry. Now, if we did get destroyers, and then we need dreadnoughts, right? That's what really needs to happen. We'll get sea lane strategy. This will all be pretty quick. Predicted to finish in 12 years. Well, why don't we get maybe these two first, actually. I mean, these 17 years. Then we get destroyers, and then we get dreadnoughts. Let's do these sea lane strategies. Actually, let's do like journey code quickly, just to get the benefit of it, since it will only take, well, 6 years, because it's 5 years for trench works. Then we get destroyers, then we get dreadnoughts by getting sea lane strategies and dreadnoughts. Let's get those, because we need a proper navy. Following war goals were enforced on Kansanje. Okay, sorted. Port max levels here. We don't need this. Self-propelled torpedoes. Torpedo boats. Submarines. Maybe we should get ourselves some submarines. Support vessels. Submarines and carriers. 60 offense, 20 defense, 100% convoy raiding efficiency. But we need radios. Ironclad, when they go to dreadnoughts, we'll need radios as well. Monitors. Yeah, we could get destroyers. Okay, but interesting. Let's plot out our global dominance. So before we even get to dreadnoughts, or sea lane strategies. Well, definitely, let's get to destroyers. Let's upgrade that. That would be good for us. Jean Nicole will also upgrade just so we can train our navy faster. But then we need, oh my god, radio. That is 6 years by itself. Telephones, electrical generation, reinforced concrete, 50% sector building throughput. We could get that, to be honest. Simply because that will make us build stuff a lot, even 15% faster. Not that we are in throughput, right? So they will take, every construction sector will take 15% more inputs and produce 20% more, 15% more output, i.e. 15% more construction. Do we really need construction? I mean, we're kind of struggling to figure out what we need it for. So let's go stick with this. Let's just get to destroyers, build up our navy. All right, so that we can actually get this like 100 ships, so we can rival the or attempt to rival the United Kingdom. And our military needs to be, let's say, 100 battalions. Now we have plenty of manpower in our colonies. How do we get, at the very least, Brazil? Like, we need to at least get them into our market, or make them our protectorate. And this is, I mean, I don't know what the British are doing here, right? What are they playing at? Brazil. They have 4,200. Yeah, so with navy-wise, we can get there, we can blockade them, we can deal with them, right? What we cannot deal with is 4,200 army, yeah. So let's get our army. We need basically like 150 battalions in our army, just to give everyone something to think about. Although we'll get trench infantry. So let's maybe get this to like 100. And then we build our navy. That is what we do. I feel like that's a plan. GDP is surging. We are constructing. Let's go ahead and have a look at our army. What do we even have it, So we have a little, 66 battalions in our Portuguese army. Let's go ahead and look at this army and transfer maybe a few to the 4th Portuguese army, which is pretty much all locals. So we feel like we need 4. We have 38. Okay, 19 and 9. So this is what, 27. Yeah, so we can definitely afford to transfer like 4 battalions into here. So that we have, what, 20 and 5. Let's do this. First of all, Francisco de Bragança Coburgo retires. Okay, part of the royal family. He was another known pacifist. Well, the Catholic Church just doesn't want to play with us, does it? Okay, so 5th Portuguese army is traveling to 4th Portuguese army to... Hang on a minute. Oh, sorry, we were supposed to transfer 6, not 2. Sorry about that, guys. So let's do a couple more. Throw them in here. Let's do that, and let's just kind of rationalize our army. We have our strongest army sitting in Iberia, defending the homelands. We'll have 1 army in maybe East Africa and 1 in Western Africa, just to deal with the rabble, and that would be 60 battalions, I think 30 and another 30. Let's do that. Yeah, 120 battalions. That's, I like, nice round numbers. That's what we want. So we have 21 here, plus 425, plus 227, right? 27. Let's get maybe 3 lances in here. Good old lances from Iberia, maybe. Here, things we're now like using Portuguese labor. Right here. Alright, let's draw them from the local population. 1, 2, 3. Alright, that's a local army for local defense. Do we have? Yes, we do have peasants here. There we go. So that will be kind of our Zanj East African army, and then we'll build 1 more. Mining incident we've had. A mine in Portuguese Sunda Islands has collapsed, trapping miners within the dark shafts below. The scale of the accident has made the tragedy a story across Portuguese Sunda Islands and the nation. This outrageous abuse of the common man cannot continue. Yeah. There we are. Russia sides with Denmark. A diplomatic play against communist Holstein. That would be a cool playthrough, actually. Now that I just had that idea that maybe I first play Russia as in Victoria 3, get them to be communist, and then we do a USSR playthrough in Hearts of Iron 4. That would be cool. That would be really cool. I mean, and I'm not saying like transfer the save file. I'm just saying just to see how it developed over like 100 years before, and we'll sort of pretend that it's a similar, well, let's pretend we're playing the same country, but just to understand the processes that went into it. Oh my god, this surplus, like, I mean, we just have to do something with it. I mean, by something, I mean, oh, we're missing a admiral. Okay, available orders, aggressive interception coordinated. This is the man. Intelligentsia, naval commander, reckless as commander, minus 10% recovery rate. But it does give us reckless organized merchant convoys. I like this guy. He has a lot of orders. Honorable. Wolf packs. 40% admiral convoys raiding. Death from below chance. 50% casualties taken. 50% attraction of interest group in government. Honorable. Ooh. Catholic Church. Fine, let's get him. That's 20. Let's get that guy as well, the reckless naval commander of intelligentsia. Right. Or reckless. So when he becomes the interest group leader, -2 opposition interest group approval. Not the best. Yeah, you have to consider that when the leader of the interest group retires or dies, it is the general, the most senior ranking general, I assume, becomes the leader of the interest group. Naval commander, arrogant. As commander, 25% command limit. Yeah, I think this guy will do, actually. Armed forces. In fact, I would even get this guy. Armed forces, he's a Republican, no. God. Let's promote him. Cost us a bit of bureaucracy. Give armed forces political strength increase. That's fine. He's a good commander, though. It's kind of our one fleet. I mean, I'm not sure how many fleets we really need. Let's make this Marinha Real Portuguesa. Let's make this our main fleet. And we can make, so this is now, what, 50 ships? So I think like ironclads needs to be half of that. So let's go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can also even build some monitors. Let's just 3, 4, 5. There we are. Okay. We built 11 more, so 6 more monitors. Let's do 5 and 5 just to keep the numbers nice and even. We'll put that in our construction queue, build that up. Now in terms of our buildings, development, what do we have, for example? Where was government administrations? Government administrations everywhere, to be honest, need to be using standardized filing system. No, actually maybe not yet, since we have bureaucracy. But just something to note that not all of our things are using that. Now let's put ourselves to advanced training for the army so that our training rate goes up and we get more officers, which are middle class, middle strata citizens. So that's always good. Naval wise, we're training at the fastest rate, but military shipyards, however, yeah, they are all having steel hulls. Okay, that's fine. You can make them all, they're barely profitable though, so there's no point in making them, giving them public ownership. No steel mills. Various degree of success across the nation. Oh my god, still we have money, guys. I mean, I just want to check. We're at lowest taxes. Basically no taxes. We can increase wages. 10% authority, 30% government wages, intelligentsia approval, and petit bourgeoisie approval. Not that we need it. We got plenty of approval. I mean, well, actually, intelligentsia would be nice to get 10%. Yeah, we could do with a bit of intelligentsia approval. Right, do a bit of intelligentsia. Are we still suppressing them? Is that why they're upset? No, we're not even suppressing you anymore. +4. Yeah, mainly, well, yeah, not that many loyalists in there, and they hate. They just hate. They just hate our laws. We are a legitimate government, though, so everything is fine. There is nothing our country wants to change. We are exactly where we want to be. Who is this? Who is this? Catholic Church, is it? This guy. Known pacifist. God. Everything we do for this country. And best argument against democracy? 5-minute chat with an average voter, as Churchill said. How true. They don't know. They don't know what's good for them, do they? They just don't know. But we'll tell them. There you go. We're bringing civilization. One province at a time. But let's... Oof. Okay, we're still missing convoys. So trade routes, port, total usage 3,000. Port connections, a shipping lane connecting one or several states otherwise unreachable over land to the market capital, ensuring market access to remote regions. Port connections require a port in both ends. The convoy cost of a port connection is dependent on the total infrastructure usage of the states it is connecting. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't actually know this, if I'm really honest again. Very interesting. Again, another difficulty of maintaining a overseas colonial power. I mean, let's go ahead and slap one more of these then, right? Since we have a bit of labor here. Got no labor in here. Who do they employ, these ports? And frankly, we even like future-proof it with 2 levels. I mean, modern ports is going to be a while before we see those. Oh, look at this. Plus... Okay, yeah. Well, a little bit more infrastructure, not all that much. Let's go to buildings. Let's just go to construction. And get these 2, like, up there. Right? These textile mills can wait. Let's get these up there so that we can actually... Yeah, get a bit of infrastructure here. Get a little bit of... get those convoys up. It's just future-proof again, our nation. What do they employ? Bureaucrats, clerks, machinists, laborers. Okay. Nothing else we can change about them. Fine. Fine. Austria declared a rivalry. Ooh, Austria declared us their rival. Okay, well, Austrian aristocratic revolt. Okay. Austria. Diplomatic play in Italy. Crush Venetian succession. Revoke Austrian claims. What is this? Republic of San Marco. Not that we care. Did we not have an interest in... I guess... Well, we do have Balkans. I guess maybe that didn't quite count, so we couldn't side with the Austrian aristocratic revolt. Fine. Aiming at the natives, we have discovered that our rivals in Austria have been arming the Mashona natives in Portuguese Zambia. This is likely to impede our efforts to conquer the region. We should de-escalate. Now, if they want to fight, they'll get one. That's right. Austria. I mean, Austria, you got more than enough on your plate. So I really wouldn't come our way. We're building our military, building our navy. We'll give everyone something to think about when it comes to us. We can go ahead and speed up a little bit. More deliberate, but everything is going our way. Now, there were some good comments about I should pay more attention to the journal entries, but yeah, as I responded in the comment, I'm not sure, you know, is it really worth it? And for example, I mean, these never run out anyway. Urbanized Portugal, I mean, that will happen when it happens. Right, for this we just need a lot of urban centers. Path to liberalism, like why do I want that? I don't want it. Scramble for Africa. 95% of state regions in Africa must be completely owned by any country, and we own 7 or more. Yeah. Well, we are on our way to getting there. Otherwise, so what? One thing to watch out for is I don't want industrialists to become less powerful, because we want. Okay, can we just bolster them maybe? Get more people to industrialists. We could even, I mean, instead of bolstering industrialists, is a very easy fix, and that is to put something like motor industries. Oh, they can't actually be publicly traded. Well, then maybe some like explosives factories that we have, right? And they are expensive. And just say, hey, boom, more explosives for everybody. In fact, all right, so we can even go here, look at these explosives factories, which make them publicly traded. They're very profitable. All right, now we'll get more capitalists into the system. We do want to keep these at 20%. Right, plus we have more explosives. And well, let's keep it at speed 2. We're building up all these textile mills, this, that. The ports here we've built up. Yeah, they're hiring. It's all good. Now we have plenty of convoys. Excellent. Because when we transport armies, we put additional strain on our convoys. So it's good to have a little surplus here. This is actually one of the... It's a 4th resource, in effect. Oh, there you go, see? So these connections keep growing. They give trade route competitiveness, an increase or decrease in the trade route competitiveness of trade routes. If a market's pool of goods available for trade is depleted due to too many trade partners, the competitiveness of each competing trade route determines how large a share they get access to. A trade route's competitiveness increases over time. That basically means, yeah, so if, like these trades that we have, if, for example, Britain, who is exporting 500 luxury clothes to us, 900 liquor. Wow. Do we still have a trade agreement with them? I hope we do. I really hope. Diplomacy, trade agreements with Portugal, yeah, because those would cost us obscene amount of bureaucracy. What was that to ever go away? Industrialists are no longer powerful. They're now influential. That's interesting that they dipped. Not really sure why. But I mean, all sorts of reasons could have happened. Like one of our leaders could have gained a trait. You know, anything like that. We are going to boost it because we just made a whole load of capitalists. Yeah, petit bourgeoisie is kind of declined from 30%, if you guys remember. They used to be good 30s, and that's despite us bolstering them, by the way. Industrialists, yeah, okay, we need to get these guys back up to 20% because we do want the 20% production research, and investment pool is a good bonus to have. Now we're barely making it, but I mean, we are occupying, you know, using up a lot of construction now. Who is this now? Yep, so instead of spending money and convoys, you know, transporting troops to Africa all the time, let's go to our military army, 4th Portuguese army. We can even like rename these in a bit. We can mobilize that, bring that here, get the strategic objective. I mean, it's all right. I'm all for extra colonization rights. Now, 3rd Portuguese army. Can we? Let's re-edit it. All right. Let's say it's the Grand Army, right? That will be like the home. Now let's give it something. Where do we have it in Portugal? There you go. Monarchy and guns. And our color is blue and red. Let's make it blue. Culture, based on culture, state. 1st Mozambican skirmish, 1st Makura skirmish army. Unit names. Ah, okay. Well, cool. No, let's do state. Yeah, so let's see where they've come from. All right, that will be our Grand Army in the home state, 4th Portuguese. We can edit this one, and that will be our, right, sort of East Africa garrison. We'll make them cultural just for some flavor. And who would they be? I mean, flag pattern. There you go. Local militia, auxiliary force. Make them red. Make them green. Jeez, that's. I mean, could these colors not be like acid neon type colors? But we'll take a pause here, guys. Sorry, my timer is telling me we've come up on the hour. So let's take a pause here, and we'll continue in the next episode. I hope everything is clear. Again, if anything is not clear, you have any suggestions, comments, do let me know. I read everything, respond to everything, and I learn along with you. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.